Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Droid Life Show. Here we are in episode 8. I'm your host, Callan. We're here with the whole Droid Life team. We got Ron, Eric, and Tim. Everyone say hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hola.
So we got, I think I say this every week, another big show planned. But this week we actually just have a lot of, rather than device reviews and hands-on stuff like that, we've got a lot of hot topics. Probably a lot of opinions are going to fly around. It should be a lot of fun. So to kick it off, let's talk about, I think, what every Android fanboy wants to talk about, and that's Google I/O. So Google I/O Twitter account announced 2013 dates. I believe it's May 15th through the 17th. I believe.
Correct.
So 3 days again. So last year they went up to 3 days from 2 days, and this year or next year, I guess I should say, they're sticking with 3 days again. So it's gonna, I'm assuming it's gonna be in San Francisco, Moscone again. I can't imagine they would change that. But again, we're looking forward to it. That's sort of where we get all of our big stuff. I mean, we always have the Android winter event, but I/O is kind of like the big deal. So let's talk about predictions. Just want to go around the table and see if anyone has anything that they just want to see for sure. Oh boy,
Sorry?
that's a Droid thing. But everyone just go around and give me like one, maybe two if you have a whole bunch, but at least one thing that you were expecting to see or want to see at Google I/O. So Tim, go for it.
Well, I'm offended that you would call us fanboys. I'm an Android fanatic, so get that right. In terms of Google I/O, Android 5.0 is what it's got to be. At least for me. Keyline Pi, I believe, is maybe what we're going to be calling it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but yeah.
Yeah, Android 5.0 That's it. Money.
No features though? Is there like a keyline?
I don't need features.
You don't
I
even
need
care.
features.
You're just
No.
like Google. Just wow me with something new.
If they just renamed Jelly Bean to Keyline Pie or whatever, then I'd be like, yeah, cool, works.
Ron, what are you thinking? Google I/O.
Honestly, I'd like to, I'd still like to see, this is something I mentioned when they're coming up with their winter event, but I'd still like to see them expand Google Now a little bit and just kind of branch that out a little bit more than what they've done so far. As far as just like moving that stuff out on the web and being able, they kind of added that, like if you have a microphone, you can do voice search and stuff like that from the Google homepage. They added that a while ago, but just kind of expanding that functionality a little bit more. They had some updates today, but just kind of expanding that out a little bit more and branching. They seem to be doing that where they're just kind of putting it on any platform at all that you can access the internet from. So if they can keep, with all their services, which we'll talk about a little bit later with Gmail and all that, but if they would do that with Google Now, I think it'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I definitely love some Google Now. Eric, got any thoughts on I/O?
I'm telling you, I already called it. Nexus Q is coming back with Google TV and/or the center of Android at home, because that never happened.
But it's going to be white, right? They're at least going to recolor it. It's going to be a limited edition white.
And you can charge your Nexus 4 with it.
Yeah, just put your Nexus 4 on top of that bad boy.
I haven't heard that.
Call it the Nexus.
I like it.
Call it the
You guys
Nexus
just make that
TV.
up? Like,
No, I've got a source.
You've got a source?
Yeah.
Sure do.
Ron and I are talking to a guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Privately.
I actually really like that. Nexus Q comes back. It's white, and you can charge a phone on top of it.
It should have been white from the beginning, to be honest. Like, that would be
It should have
cool
not
looking.
sucked to begin with.
No.
That may have
That's,
helped.
You're asking for way too much from Google.
I do still really like the look of it though. Like I would
Yeah,
buy
it
one
looks
just
fantastic.
to own it and let it kind of let this little light thing I'd just stare at that for a little while. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like mine. I use it all the time, but
Yeah, it's coming back with-
It's coming back. It's coming back.
Google TV and/or Android at home. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it comes back. I hope it comes back and it's really cool. I don't know, though. Although it's American-made, and I'm sure the company that they hired to do that probably doesn't want to see it go away. They probably thought they were going to sell a whole bunch of those things. So, I don't know. So I/O, I don't really know what I'm hoping to see from I/O. I definitely. So when you bring up Android 5.0, that sounds awesome, but we got Jelly Bean 4.1 in June or whatever, and then we just got Jelly Bean 4.2. And May, just to me, it doesn't even seem that far away. So if we jump up to 5.0, how far behind is the entire Android universe going to be, except everyone that owns a Nexus device? That's the only thing that scares me a little bit. Like, it's when we got 2 updates this year that just seem to like totally spread the whole thing out. And we'll talk about updates later, but I guess I'll never turn down a new Android version. But
exactly. Well, it's already fragmented. Why not fragment it a little bit more? Like, there's no reason we have to stop.
never gonna fix itself. So let's just keep going.
I kind of really like that idea. They just say screw it, just like every couple of weeks they come out with a new one. And
that's fine. Adoption rates like 0.5%.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to actually get people to buy Nexus devices. Just go, screw the rest of you. We're going to come up with a new update every like 3 weeks.
Straight
you have to buy
nightly bills.
Yeah, you can only get you can only get on certain carriers. So like you can only get Android version 5 on Verizon. You can only get version 6 on T-Mobile. Just really ruin it for everyone.
What's interesting is that so Google has to. I don't want Google to have to stop making new Android features just because carriers and manufacturers can't keep up with them. You know, that's the way I see it, though. If Google wants to make new versions of Android that are bigger and better, let that happen, and blame the carriers and the manufacturers for not keeping up to date. And if they can't handle their products, then whatever.
That's right. If we've learned anything from capitalism, it's that you can just keep going. Just keep going. Eventually, people will buy it, and don't worry about it.
America,
laissez-faire, you'll be fine. just keep making stuff, and people will buy it.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow. Wow. All right. So yeah. So I don't know what else we're gonna see. Apparently, we're just gonna go push forward with Android versions and just say to everyone else. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Droid Bionic?
It would be great if they started getting really, really long with the version numbers.
Oh,
like they do with Chrome.
Yeah, 4.1.2.1.1.
Yeah, like a really long string at the end, like 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. Yeah. Just
you can't keep up with Chrome. Every time I see one, I go, huh? And I'm subscribed to like the Chrome blog, like the stable, or not even stable, just the release blog, and it makes no sense. Yeah. It is the most confusing thing ever. Yeah, everyone in the chat's like poking fun at that idea now. 4.2.2.1.3.1.2.5.
Did you get the update? Which one?
Which one?
Because I have no idea.
Hey, did you get the .9.0.5.2?
No, dude, I didn't.
It would just actually that would be a good thing. So it really just let Android nerds realize how horrible it is to try and keep up with that stuff.
It is really bad. It is really bad.
Good
point. All right, well, let's move on from I/O since we really have no idea. Once we get closer, maybe we'll start figuring that stuff out.
It's so early.
Actually, this is what I want to see. I want to see them remove Picasa from the goddamn Google account thing.
I
want it gone. Here. I want Picasa gone because you can't once that like the little box is checked, it just starts syncing Picasa. You go what? Yep. And you can't get rid of it. I'm sure there's some like hack workaround for it, but Picasa gotta go.
It's so annoying.
I want it to go. Anyway,
if anyone in the chat knows how to get rid of Picasa from the gallery, let us know right now.
Kill Picasa.
Yeah.
All right, so Verizon's LTE network. Let's move off of there. Verizon's LTE network turned 2 years old. You guys probably remember it was right before CES 2011. So we were in 2010. No, we were in 2000. Wait, we were in 2010, about to be 2011. Yeah, that's it. We were in 2010. It was about to be 2011, and their network went live, and there was no devices on it except I think like a hotspot or something. But as we approached CES, we started getting rumors of all these devices. Yeah, and we actually posted that like massive gallery of the Thunderbolt. No one had ever seen it before, and it was and then so that came out, and then CES they announced that, and I think there was and then the LG Revolution, obviously the Bionic, and then the Droid Charge I think was the fourth. Yeah. So those 4, and then we waited like was it 4 months before the Thunderbolt finally came out. After that, like it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed.
It got delayed, yeah.
And there was all this.
It was an amazing phone, though. I don't know if you guys remember how great it was.
It was the greatest phone ever.
I just remember the display was like, oh my god!
It was great. It was like an Evo, but on Verizon, and you could use it for like almost 3 whole hours. It was great. It was
maybe if you're lucky.
I feel so bad for Thunderbolt. So today I posted up my thoughts on the Droid DNA, and like the third comment is this guy that just goes, "I will never buy HTC again because of the damn Thunderbolt ever again."
Oh, whatever. You had a big display. Talk to me if you had an Aris.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so Verizon's LTE is 2 now. It's unlike, Tim, what is it, like 250 million people, and how many markets does it cover and all that? You know the numbers, don't you?
Yeah, 411 4G LTE markets. It only services like 11 million customers, but it covers 250 million Americans.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
But so it only 11 million people are on it right now.
So asterisk in there. Okay.
Yeah, it's Barry Bonds style.
It is. So we're 2 years in. We were sort of talking before the show about when everyone got LTE in their neck of the woods. I think in Portland were fairly soon.
Yeah, it didn't take too long.
I think by like October of 2011, we finally had it, and it was like crazy fast. Now it's really slow. I don't know if you've noticed that, Tim, but LTE around here sucks for Verizon. It doesn't suck. It's just not as fast anymore.
I was still living in the Bay Area before I moved up here, and 4G came here. But I remember the day it came, you were like, "Hey man, I'm gonna head up to the airport because it's the only place where 4G LTE."
I remember that.
And I was like, "What?"
I remember that.
Yeah.
I thought that was so ghetto.
I did. I drove, and the airport in Portland. Well, actually, in every city, it's like way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's not that close to your place.
No, and I was hanging out in the like parking lot of like Famous Footwear or something, and just like speed testing. Like, this is awesome. I'm so excited. But what about? But Eric and Ron, when did you guys get it?
Indianapolis, for some reason. Sorry. Got 4G pretty quickly. I think they were pretty high up on the list of the first cities. And then right after that, the Super Bowl. We had the Super Bowl, so they came and kind of bolstered the whole state, basically. And so it's been fantastic. And then my college town, Bloomington, got it, I think, probably 6 months ago, and still running really good. So I've been fortunate.
That's nice. Yeah. Ron, did you get it early or were you late?
Yeah, we got it. Well, we got it later than I wanted, but I want to say I was living in Ranch Cucamonga at the time, which is just Inland Empire area. I think we got it late 2011 is when I remember it finally pushing through. So it was early compared to most people, but it was a lot more major because we're that area is about an hour and a half away from LA, so that LA was obviously a bigger area for TIP, but relatively early.
Yeah, I just remember it going live in like a variety of cities, or a handful of cities, and then a couple more. And it seemed like it was sort of slow at first. Now it's just like this wave just rolling out across the country. But yeah, I remember contacting like Northwest Verizon PR guy like once a week and going, "When's it coming? When's it coming?" Yeah. And a couple like Verizon contacts we have around Portland. They were trying to keep me updated, tell me where towers were and stuff like that. But yeah, once we finally got it, we came back. So
some people in the chat are showing off down speeds that they've speed tested before. You guys have any best numbers?
I mean, when we first got it, everything was like at least 30, I think, down, and in the teens, I think, up. And it was crazy fast. I just remember that's when everyone went, "It's faster than my home internet. I'm going to tether the hell out of this thing." Now it's, I swear, in Portland now it's like 10 and 8 or 15 and 8. It's not. I mean, that's still really fast, right? But it's not like it was. And it's not like AT&T's is now. AT&T's in Portland is crazy fast, but it's still new. I don't know. You guys have records, or you remember where you were your first speed test? I was at the airport, clearly.
Well, I think you guys remember this. Right after I moved into my new apartment in Bloomington, they had just thrown up their LTE, and I didn't have my internet set up for the first, 3 days. And
those are wonderful days to have.
I just tethered my phone, and I think at 2 or 3 in the morning one night, I got 70 megabits down.
Oh.
Because I was literally 2 blocks from a tower. I could see it out my back window, and man, I just sucked the data down throughout 3 days. Verizon probably hated me.
You were the only guy in the neighborhood.
I was tethering it to my laptop and watching Netflix. I played my Xbox on a tethered connection one time. It was I was going nuts.
Now you want to know how desperate I got to play Xbox once? I was tethering T-Mobile's HSPA Plus to play Xbox Live.
Oh dang!
That was the laggiest connection I've ever played on. No hit markers whatsoever, but you got to do what you got to do to play some Call of Duty.
Yo, Tim, I don't know about you, but when I took my phone off, when I untethered it, I thought it was gonna fry. It was so hot.
Oh,
I thought it was gonna melt.
Yeah, tethering and batteries, they hate each other.
Yeah, I had it plugged into the wall.
Yeah, so brutal. And no, I don't remember my first speed test. That's just ridiculous.
Do you remember where you were at least? Come on.
I remember where you were.
I was probably at work.
What were you wearing?
I was probably wearing a suit work outfit.
Go on.
Like a tie. Leather shoes.
I was wearing pants.
Tell me more.
I had a shirt on.
I was fully nude when I did my first test. I don't know if that's appropriate or not. Is that all right to share?
This is a family show.
It was like 95 degrees, and I had the fan behind me blowing.
It was really warm. I was warm like my phone.
Was it the box fan that's sitting behind you now?
What? That was it. How did you know? That was it. Huh.
Because what other fan would you want behind you blowing upon you? Like
right.
On your naked body. I
need some high wind speeds if I'm going to be blown.
You make a wind tunnel with that.
Nice. I love a good box fan. I'm going to move on from that. But that does sort of lead us into our next topic, though. So we threw up a poll yesterday, I believe, and we asked, what's keeping you all with your current carrier? Is it because they have a good LTE network, pricing, the plans are good, they have a really good phone lineup, the coverage is all, it's like your only choice? I can't remember what the number one thing was, but I think it was LTE. Like, I think by quite a bit, actually. Yeah. If I was a really good host, I would definitely have that poll up right now.
Yeah.
But I believe it was LTE. I mean, that just sort of makes sense. Yeah, it is. Like 36% of people. And then other than that, it said coverage area. Everyone said the coverage is key. So for me, at this point, I think, actually, I don't even know because I'm using an Nexus 4, so LTE is probably not the number one thing for me. I don't know. I'll think about that. What's your guys' reason for staying? Is everybody with Verizon, first off?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your reason for staying with Verizon? Like, what's the number one reason? There could be multiple, but what's like the reason why you're with them? Or maybe it is just a combination of everything. I don't know.
I was way off on my assumption of what people would choose. When Kellen and me first started talking about it, I was like, oh, phones, right? I mean, everyone is all about the phones, the manufacturers, but then that was like next to the bottom of the list. I was like, oh, man, my thumb is not on the pulse of America anymore.
Because our polls represent the heart of America.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, as for me, it's just that I technically, I'm grandfathered in on Verizon's Unlimited for now until they kick me off. So I guess I would have to stay with them until that's gone. But I like phones. I like Verizon's lineup more than anyone else's, I think, at this point. So, well, AT&T.
See, but on AT&T and T-Mobile, you can get an unlocked phone and use it there.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, I don't know.
It's kind of a tough question because
I got a couple of those too. So really, for me, we don't really have like normal, phone lines. So hard to say.
Yeah, Ron or Eric, what are your reasons for sticking with Verizon?
For me, it's the coverage. That's for my day job, I'm driving all over Southern California, so I got to make sure I've got good coverage. So that was the big thing. But I was talking to my some relatives about just plans and everything else like that, and comparing them. And at this point, it's really like we were looking at T-Mobile and AT&T and all that. And at this point, with all the family share plans and everything else like that, and pretty much everybody's got sharing data and all that, they're pretty much identical. I think we ended up AT&T was pretty much the same, depending how much data you had or whatever. But like even T-Mobile was only $10 away once you add add all the lines and everything else like that. Yeah. So it's at that point it really does become about the network, which is great. It's pretty rare that you can see that. If you're on your own, that changes things. But if you're doing like a family plan kind of thing, then it's pretty much just who has the best coverage. So
yeah, what was yours, Eric?
Well, I love me some LTE, but I've got a deal worked out with my parents, so I'm not fully paying for my own at the moment. So I'm kind of backpacking at the moment.
No, it's cool. You'll become a man one day. It'll be great.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate it.
And I'm looking I'll have to make the decision.
You should reach through that monitor and punch Ron in the face, Eric. Don't let him get away with that. That's a low blow.
No, I love my parents.
It's not about love.
Love your parents. I don't even know what to say now. For those in the chat, Eric's a college student, so he can.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
But once you graduate, you're paid.
Yeah, I've been talking to everybody about this. Like, what do I do after college when I get my own plan? Because AT&T has good coverage here. When I've tested phones, the coverage hasn't been bad, and their 4G is fast because nobody's on it yet. But I don't know. I haven't looked at pricing yet for a single person, so I think that's going to be the major point is price for me.
Single person pricing on Verizon sucks. I'll just tell you right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I've seen. So
yeah, you don't want to go with, but it's not any better really on AT&T either.
No, although AT&T will still let you buy an individual for like I think it's like $30 data for 2 gig or something.
Yeah,
they're not 3 gig.
They're not horrible. T-Mobile's a little better.
Yeah, but Verizon they don't even have like an individual plan. They just put you on a shared one and just
by yourself.
Just destroy your wallet.
Yeah, share your data with yourself.
Yeah, with yourself. It's like 1 gigabyte and it's $50, I think. It's insane.
But that is kind of nice, like thinking, because like right now, like most people are probably locked into contracts and stuff like that. So it's pretty rare that people are at that point where they can kind of just make their own decisions. So I mean, Eric, does like choosing an individual phone, like are you try and keep whatever you've got right now, or are you looking at when you break off to?
That's why I mentioned to Tim. You can buy unlocked phones and use them on AT&T and T-Mobile. You have a lot of flexibility at that point to buy off the used market, or if you see something overseas that you like and you know that you're going to keep it for a while, you can buy that and it'll work. So that's definitely in consideration as well.
Yeah, and once you brought that up, I think now, I mean, obviously I do this for a living, so I have an AT&T line and a Verizon line, but the only phones I buy now tend to be unlocked because I can just throw them on AT&T. I don't have to do anything weird, and I can get them for pretty reasonable prices. So I think for me nowadays, and partly again because I do this for a living, it's the phones that sort of drive me. But if I had to pick a carrier, well, see, and I wouldn't pick Verizon now if I was an individual because their plans are just too expensive, and T-Mobile's network's just not everywhere. I think I would probably choose AT&T just because they still have an individual plan, and like I think it's $30 for, I want to say it might even be 3 gig unless they dropped it to 2. But nowadays that's actually not that bad when you're talking about tiered data. So and they have LTE, so they kind of have a decent package. But I don't know, for me it's sort of phones at this point. I tend to only buy unlocked phones because they work sort of on everything.
I'd like to see Verizon come out with something more single person based.
Verizon doesn't like single people.
No, they really don't.
Yeah, if you're not married or together, then you are worthless to them.
They're like the government. They want you to get married.
Exactly.
I mean, they kind of do hate individuals now because it's not like Eric's the only college kid on Earth. Like, there's all kinds of kids that are coming up, and they're on family.
He's alone,
and they're going to go
very sought after.
Forever alone.
Just giant lecture rooms, totally empty except for him.
But so everybody on an individual or on a family plan now that's like becoming a man going to go out on their own. They can't go to Verizon and get their own plan. They almost have to say, family, let's just up our data and we'll stick together. That's almost what you have to do because you can't go on your own. Or you just have to switch carriers completely.
Or you get a friend.
Yeah.
That's true. You could make friends. And then...
but we work on the internet and making friends.
Yeah, if we don't have friends.
Why do you have to make friends? Do you guys not already have friends in your... No? Oh.
Is that something else? Is that something you could go on Craigslist for? Hey, I'm looking for someone to go into a family share plan with.
The personal section is where you want to go.
I accept PayPal every month for myself.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right. So there's a number of factors, but 4G LTE was the number one thing from our readers, then coverage area, and then the third thing was nothing. I'm leaving as soon as my contract is up. So a lot of people are sick of shared data. I think a lot of people are unlimited, and they want to buy a phone at a subsidized price, so they're saying, I don't want shared data, I'm going elsewhere. I think a lot of people are thinking about T-Mobile. Hopefully it's in their area. Then plan options, price of phones and plans, and then the phone lineup was, Tim, actually last, which I was sort of surprised to see, too. I thought a lot of people go to, at least I think at one point, when everyone was unlimited, or at least Verizon still was, people were flooding to because their phones were awesome and they had unlimited data. But now everyone kind of has good phone lineups.
Yeah. I just don't know anything. Whatever.
Well, I think it could be too, though, that like people have kind of given up on the idea of having, like, most of our readers probably would want to have a Nexus, and I think people have given up on the idea of having a Nexus on their carrier of choice. So that could be why that number has dropped tremendously. Because I think in reality people do like that, like having the device that they want is probably pretty high on their list. It's just that that's not a reality right now. You literally cannot pick a device and a carrier, in tandem all the time.
Right. And that really sucks. I mean, it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't have to settle one way or the other. You should be able to get the best phone like when you buy a damn computer, you buy the best computer you want from wherever you want to, from whatever manufacturer, and that's your computer. And your phone, it should be, that's just a screwed up carrier situation in the U.S. But yeah, the fact that you have to settle and you can't get the phone you want, that's just unfortunate, I think.
I think it's a bunch of BS that we live in this country and we can't have the best of both worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Hannah Montana said it best.
Yeah. What the fuck did she say?
Get the best of both worlds. Come on.
Oh.
Come on, guys.
How am I supposed to know what Hannah Montana said?
Tim, you and I just watched that show the other night.
I was avoiding going, yeah, Ron.
No, you didn't want to admit that you love that theme song?
No.
I don't know that I know that song. I just know of it. Let's just say that.
Sure, yeah, me too.
I wish I could even say that.
Yeah. But speaking of not getting everything you want, our next topic is about the Galaxy Note 2 on Verizon. So I have one in hand, and a number of readers dropped us emails over the weekend that said Verizon is like blocking features and removing things from the phone. What the hell's going on? And I didn't know what everyone was talking about, so I started looking into it. And there's this feature in the Note 2, and I believe it's just in Jelly Bean with TouchWiz. It's called blocking mode. And basically you toggle this thing to blocking mode, and you can set your phone for a period of time to like turn off all notifications, turn off alarms, but then you can set like VIP people to like always ring through or emails to always come through, things like that. And Verizon completely hid this feature.
Why?
I don't know. So you have to use one of those sort of shady shortcut maker apps, and you go in and like search in the services, and blocking mode's still there, and you just can create a shortcut to it on like a home screen, and then you can access it, and you can turn it on, and it works just like it should. But Verizon blocked it for whatever reason. No one knows.
That's so weird.
So you can't ignore those stupid text messages that they send you about your plan.
Yeah, I mean, I saw in some forum thread, I saw somebody say, well, Verizon has like a competing service they want to sell you, and I don't know what that is. I was confused by that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, though.
Yeah, they have something.
Oh, don't put anything past Verizon, especially if it comes to them blocking features and then trying to sell it to you for a price. Like, come on.
And so that's the next one, right? So wireless charging. The Galaxy Note 2 has the pins in it for like a cover, like a back cover for wireless charging. Except the Verizon version, the casing underneath the battery cover is blocked where the pins are. Like they covered up the pins. And if you there's like a video on YouTube. It's like a 17-minute video of some guy showing you how to put wireless charging in the Note 2 on Verizon. And there's actually two little metal like spots on the board, and you can like rig up like copper, and it'll actually do it. So Verizon actually had them remove this feature. And like the AT&T version, T-Mobile versions, they have the pins, they're exposed. International version does. And Verizon, no, it's gone. It's not even on there.
But why?
I don't know. That's another thing, because they can make a ton of money selling backs for these things. But the really weird thing, though, too, is the Galaxy S3 has it, and I believe every carrier has the pins, but yet you can't find a wireless back for it anywhere. So I don't know if Samsung couldn't make them. Whoever makes their accessories decided
I guarantee you Samsung's sitting on a bunch of those that Verizon's just...
Probably has a whole warehouse full of them.
But I mean, in order to get one of those like wireless charging backs, even for the Galaxy S3, I think they're hard to find. Like you can go on Amazon, I think, and search for them, and I'm not sure there's that many options. It's a weird thing, but yeah. So anyway, back to Verizon. Took away blocking mode. Wireless charging's gone. They put the stupid logo on the home button. They've totally, not totally changed the phone, but they're hiding features, and I don't understand how that's okay or why they would do it. And it's unfortunate. Again,
they're making it like they're trying to make it undesirable. It seems like just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, it sort of does. Well, and someone in the chat also pointed out they added that constant ongoing Wi-Fi notification that you can't get rid of. That's there.
That's the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
And yeah, and they took away the quick Wi-Fi toggle that's up there in the notification bar. That's just gone. You have to go into the Wi-Fi settings, which I don't understand that either. But it's really weird.
There has to be either some person at Verizon or a group of people that sit down and like think of these things. They're like, all right, this is how every other carrier is doing their phone. How can we?
Oh yeah, they got
make ours stupid.
Yeah, a think tank full of assholes. We're like, how can we make these phones like just terrible or like unfun to use?
Why would you take that away? Why would you take wireless charging away? Like, It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so they're going to make money off of it.
Well, no. So here's one reason. So, and this is sort of conspiracy theory territory here, but in like a forum thread I was reading, some guy said he walked into a store and was like, "Does the Galaxy Note 2 have wireless charging?" And the sales associate immediately just went, "Nope, but this Droid DNA does," and showed him that. So there's this conspiracy theory that they're going to push Droid branded phones over other ones because maybe they make more money through licensing. I have no idea, but I mean, it is like the Note or the DNA has wireless charging. It's Droid branded. It's like their flagship. And the Galaxy Note 2 was released on every carrier like a month ago, and Verizon pushed it out till after the DNA. And I don't know. I mean, Verizon's, I hate to say it, but we complain about this stuff with them all the time. I mean, they're always changing little things around that just drive us nuts. So I don't know.
It's shady. That's what it is. Because I mean, since we all know like what these phones should be and what they are like on other carriers, we just see it as just shady marketing and practice. But to them, I don't think it really dawns on them that it's actually affecting people. So
yeah, but that could be though, because I mean they definitely choose. If you think back to last holiday season, the Resound and the I think the original Razor, maybe the HD.
Yeah,
came
the
out
Galaxy Nexus all at the same time.
And the G Nex, yeah. And the only one that got any ad support was the Razor.
Yep.
And of course the ads didn't make any sense. But, they pushed those hard. And the Resound was a really good device. And obviously the Galaxy Nexus had the potential to be a really good device.
But as a marketing guy, you would do the same thing because you know how much of a success, say, the original Motorola Razr was. And you're like,
oh, yeah.
We have a new Razr. It's the same name. It's the same company. Holy crap, we're going to make a ton of money. Let's just put all of like the eggs in one basket or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it made sense in that case. But then again, to all of us who love Android, you should be pushing the Galaxy Nexus. I see what you're saying. But yeah.
I think so. But I think maybe with this time, I mean, they during the event for the DNA, they were talking about how this is redefining the Droid name and everything else like that.
Oh yeah.
I think they really do want to do that because for all intents and purposes, even though most people call Android phones Droids still, there really hasn't been a Droid that's been as significant in the regular population since the original. And so I think they do have hopes of changing that.
Yeah, I mean, they sell a lot of Droid phones, and they do need to sort of bring it back because it's been pretty lackluster for like a year and a half, or almost 2 years or something now. So
yeah, well, the original came out 2009.
Yeah.
Can you really think of any Droid that you've seen in large numbers for a legitimate reason? Because people want the phone, not because I remember seeing some a little bit more charges than normal. That's because people were scared LTE was going over.
Now the Droid X, X had sold crazy.
That's true.
So that was when they were kicking it off, right? Because it went end of 2009 was the original Droid, and then we had the Incredible a few months later, and that sold big. And then the
Droid Aris, that was in there.
Yeah, that's true, that was in there. But then the Droid X was that summer of 2010, I believe, and they promoted the hell out of it. It was big. So that was still in that initial wave of Droid, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Droid is awesome!" The brand,
gigahertz processor.
Yeah, gigahertz processor. And then after that is kind of when it fell off, and we got nothing good. And then
that's when the Droid 2 came out.
Droid 2 was around the same time as the X.
Yeah, it was.
You know what the worst one was? The Droid X2. Oh man, that thing was a piece.
It was great because who wants a camera button on their phone?
Oh man, that
I've seen the Droid 2 drive more people to iOS than any other Android phone singularly.
The Droid 2 was horrible, and anyone that says that it isn't is high and drunk.
Yeah. It was a horrible phone. It was a bad phone.
Well, the Droid 2 was also quite terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend here that's gone through, I think, like 8 of them in the last year or so. And he's just deciding what he wants, but he just keeps getting replacement after replacement.
Oh, the Droid 2?
Yeah, the Droid 2.
Yeah, I went through three, maybe 4.
Oh, really? Yeah. It was a terrible.
My wife went through 2.
That's what happened. It was the Droid 2. Killed it.
Every single one of the best. Well, because I had the original Droid, and they just upgraded me to the Droid 2 eventually after I went through a couple upgrades of the original Droid because it was towards the end of life. But every single Droid 2 that I've seen has a cracked bezel. Every single one.
Oh, wow.
I thought that just comes standard with the device.
Yeah, it's part of it. You see it peeling away. It's a feature.
Well, because I remember, the original Droid had the gold buttons and the paint would chip on people. And I was like, what? I still have my original Droid from 2009. Like, mine never chipped or got crazy or anything like that. It still has the non-raised keyboard and stuff. It's great.
Oh, God. That was terrible on the Droid 2 as well. I forgot about that.
So, since we're going back and talking about OG Droid, I tweeted a picture while I was cleaning out the house while I was home about a week ago, and I have boxes from every single Droid 1 through 3, but I have 2 original Droid boxes. Like there's a portrait one and then there's a square one, which I thought was interesting, but I don't think any of you guys saw it.
Probably not.
I saw your picture of the 3. I don't remember seeing the 2 boxes of the original though.
Yeah.
You could share it with us, man. So no.
But anyways, I guess you have to think too that like Samsung, they're able to put enough marketing dollars to sell all of their phones, right? And Verizon puts them behind their Droid brand because that's sort of their like signature line. So I think that's probably partly why they tried to push the DNA for the Galaxy Note 2. They know Samsung's going to sell the heck out of it. There's Eric's.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Bring it back in talk so we can, because otherwise it doesn't go to your screen.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Technical difficulties.
While you're doing that, though, the Droid packaging is so ugly.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
It really is. Okay, here we go. Here's
Holy
the 2.
Bring it back, buddy.
Those are the. See, there's a portrait style one, and then there's a square one. Which I thought was interesting. So.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember seeing that now.
Yeah.
I did see that. Excuse me. I think it. Yeah, I saw it. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the difference was the one with the raised keys and the unraised keys. I don't know.
Yeah, because I had an OG that had one that with non-raised and the other one with the. It wasn't really even raised. It was kind of like a couple folds.
Yeah, just
little
like
bumps. Yeah.
bubbled.
A little hilly. Yeah.
I remember when like the Droid 2 came out, and then the Droid 3, and then the Droid 4. I think every single time they went, we've reinvented the keyboard. This keyboard is the best ever. And like I think the 2 and 3 both had crappy keyboards, didn't they?
The Droid 4's keyboard is fantastic, though.
Yeah, that's
the 4 is
Yeah,
good.
because that's when they started separating the keys, right?
And they're
Yeah,
all
which I always loved. My Touch Pro 2 had the separated keys, and I love that keyboard.
Yeah,
they're
that's
edge
nice.
lit. It looks really pretty. But yeah, the rest of that phone sucks, by the way. But yeah, the keyboard is really nice.
Just like the Touch Pro 2, surprisingly.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about the Note 2 and why Verizon's removing all these features. It's sort of a mystery, and I actually have I reached out to Samsung to see if they could tell me why it doesn't have wireless charging, and I have a post like waiting just to go to talk about it to bring some sort of spotlight on it, but I haven't heard back yet, so we'll see. Let's talk about Android distribution numbers. Those came out, and Jelly Bean is now up to 6.7%. That includes 4.1 and 4.2. Ice Cream Sandwich at 27.5%. Who cares about Honeycomb? And Gingerbread is still at 50.8%. Then after that, you have some people at Froyo and Eclair Donut. There's 0.1% at Cupcake, which is just silly. But you know, every time this comes out, we sort of poke fun at the idea that, you know, like random tech blogs and Apple sites just go, "Oh my God, fragmentation! Where the iOS is already at version this percentage, and Android's not." But at the same time, it is kind of serious. I mean, we're talking half of the Android phones in the world are still running Gingerbread, which is 2 years old. That's, to me, at this point, like I like making fun of the idea of that fragmentation is not that big of a deal. But come on, we're 2 years later, and half of the world is still running Gingerbread. Does anyone have any thoughts on, I mean, not necessarily how we can fix this, but to me, at this point, it is getting a little bit ridiculous. And like I said, with the Jelly Bean 4.1 this summer, and then a new version now, and then possibly another version in May, like this is going to just look worse and worse. I don't know. Does anybody have any thoughts?
I want to know who the poor bastards are that are still running Honeycomb. Like, what are you doing?
Well, you know, there's probably like 600 people that, or I don't know what the percentage is, but
some no-name tablets that are like they got them like for $99 and they're still running Honeycomb. Yeah, that's rough. Beyond that, no. I mean, like I keep wanting just to point the finger at manufacturers or carriers. I mean, I don't think it's anyone's fault. Well, I mean, technically there is to the point where a Gingerbread phone can't upgrade to Ice Cream Sandwich because it's just too much of a jump. Right. You know, like the OG Droid, which is probably, I don't know how many are still out in the wild, probably quite a few.
Yeah.
But I know that thing's stuck on Gingerbread, and that's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Did it actually get Gingerbread? I thot it got stuck.
Yeah, it got 2.3.
Got 2.3. So that probably takes up quite a bit of that number, and then
like
again, so a lot of phones when they reach their end of life, you know, they're on Gingerbread. And I think that's just kind of where we are right now. I think next it'll just be the same. Ice Cream Sandwich will be end of life for a lot of devices, a lot of Motorola's maybe, but Yeah, so I think that's why it just seems so crazy.
Can I go get another prop? It'll take like 3 seconds.
Yeah, go get a prop. We love props.
Yeah.
Rod, do you have any ideas or any thoughts on just this whole, like, the numbers they're just not changing. It's been this way for like 6 months. It's insane.
Yeah, I think. Curious what Eric's prop is. I mean, it's gotten to the point now. I saw somebody put up an article today about why Android doesn't have, why it's not, why you can't get an update and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't think those stories are really helping anybody anymore at this point. Like,
No.
people get it. You're not going to get an update or whatever. But I don't think it really matters a lot either. Most apps. I mean, I saw an app the other day that said like, oh yeah, it's got compatibility as a Twitter app, and it said compatibility back to 1.6. I'm like, why?
Who needs
Why would
that?
why would you do that? Like, that's not helping anybody at all.
Yeah.
And if anything, it's hindering your app because you're not
Yeah.
it's not helpful for anybody. So I don't. It's a problem. It's something that Google should have addressed. That Google, I don't think, has the power to address anymore. I think they could have fixed it. I think they gave that up with their deal with China and their agreement to keep everything open and all that. So that's part of doing things open and partnering with manufacturers like they did instead of doing things on their own.
Yeah, I don't know that there is any way ever to solve. I mean, I just don't think it's possible because you have all these different like everyone compares it to Apple, right? They're one company, and even if they make one new phone a year and their phone from the last 2 years gets updated, they're still just one company. It's not a skin, it's just their version of their software. And when you look at Android, it's a different company making 5 or 6 different phones a year, sometimes more. And they're selling those all across the world on all these different carriers with their own skin on it, some of them with, some of them without. And so you just multiply that out, and there's just no possible way for it ever to be.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers suck. And like I said, I sort of poke fun every time we write this story because some sites go, this is the greatest story ever. It's Android distribution numbers. And it's just silly. It's not like they're never going to look really in favor of the new version of Android. And I think we're just stuck. I don't know that there is a way to solve it. I'm not really sure.
Well,
There is. They just
is,
can't do it now.
well, you have, like what you were saying, Kellen, you've got the 5 or 6 different manufacturers making phones. But the problem is you've also got this 2-year upgrade plan that you've got the whole United States on that arguably a lot of those Androids are in the United States. So most of those people are going to be locked into one phone for the same 2 years. So we're not going to see that gingerbread change for a while. And then with all the fast upgrades that we've been seeing through phones, jumping from 1 gigahertz processors, single core, up to quad core, 1.8. It's hard to build Android for that will scale based on the hardware. Does that make any sense?
Kind of, but I don't know that that's necessarily true. And that's something that we kind of talked about a week or two ago. Like if hardware is going to be able to keep up with updates in the future, whether or not like you're going to be able to have the same updates on like a Nexus device, for example. Like when ICS first came out, it didn't run on the Nexus 1.
Yes.
So which you could hack it on there and it worked and it was fine, but Google decided to cut that off, whatever. I mean, I think it's a problem that they can solve by putting restrictions on the manufacturers like Microsoft did, where you say you can do all the hardware you want, but you have to keep all these devices up to date. You can only run stock. If you want to run something on top of that, you can do that, but either it runs as its own app, like all these other launchers do, or you're required to keep that in tandem, and if you can't do it, then you lose your skinning privileges.
Yeah,
interesting.
We've seen how successful Microsoft has been. So
yeah, and they kind of
I don't know.
But to their credit, though, all the last gen, that don't run Windows Phone 8, but all those devices that were out, they all run 7.5, and that does. I mean, compared to Android, you can't even say that for a lot of phones that only maybe got one upgrade ever. If any at all. I mean, there are plenty of devices that never do get upgraded.
The other thing is this: when this story always comes back around, I always think, how many of the general population walks into a Verizon store or carrier of their choice and looks at a phone and says, "I'm going to buy this because of how many updates it's going to get down the road." Most people are going to walk in there and say, "Hey, this phone works. This does what I want it to, based on the operating system that it has right now." why, if they're not an Android fanboy, why do they have to expect an update at some point?
The problem is, even if you are an Android fanboy, you can't guess which phones are going to get updates.
I
can't. But like even if you have like a Galaxy Nexus, you literally cannot on Verizon. You can't.
Not on Verizon, of course, you can't. But you know, I know what you. No one can do
so
that.
I mean, like,
not even
that was the beauty of hey, let's get Nexus devices on every carrier, so then you get your updates all the time. And even that's not true.
Yeah.
So unless you want to hack your way through it, which for some devices is great, and for other devices it's a crapshoot. I put lots of custom ROMs on my Droid too. None of them were great. They worked okay, but they weren't great. So and that's the reality of the situation. You literally can't. So I don't know if that's a fair way to look at it, because there just isn't a device out there where you can say, yeah, for sure it's going to get an update.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, what kind of single mom is going to walk in there buying a first Android phone for their kid and say, I'm going to buy this because he's going to get an update.
Single mom.
It's the most important demographic, Helen. That's the only single mom's bought
he's going to get an update for his phone down the road. Like, if you pick up a phone and you like how it works and you don't care about the updates, then more power to you. You're going to have that and you're going to enjoy it.
Until your friend shows you what the new phone can do with all the updates.
Yeah. Well,
that's kind of part of the problem, I mean, it's one thing if you don't know about it, but you see it and you see the advancements and everything else like that, and suddenly you realize, oh, maybe I do want some of those things.
The difference between Android and iPhone is all iPhones are meant to be on the same level, and they're Androids that are never meant to be super phones, and they're Androids that are never meant to get updates that some other ones are going to get.
Right, which is a bad system, and the real system should be all Androids are super phones, and if you want to get a cheaper one, you get the last generation one, and that solves that problem. But nobody wants to do that.
Right. They want to cover mid-range and high.
Yeah, which is BS. Just sell the old phone, make a ton of the one phone, sell the old one as your mid-range and eventually your low-range, and that solves that problem for everybody.
Yeah.
I think Apple patented that.
Yeah. So, well, the problem with that too is like a lot of times the top tier phone from these companies isn't good enough to sell to begin with. So if they leave it around for you, they're screwed, and that's part of the problem too.
Yeah, but then just make a better phone, and then you're done. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Try working at LG and doing that. Come on,
does it have to be LG? Can I pick somebody else?
No.
Can I do Hawaii or something? Or Huawei? Does anybody know how you actually pronounce that?
Huawei.
It's Huawei.
Huawei. It's a silent H.
Huawei.
Yeah. Huawei or something like that.
Anyway, I got my prop.
Okay, what's your prop?
What is it? It's an OG Droid running Jelly Bean.
Yeah. It's my night. That's my.
It's an OG Droid with a picture of a jelly bean on there. Doesn't mean
it's actually running. Oh wait, it is running. You flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's running Jelly Bean right now. Come on.
Open the app launcher. Let's see how long it takes.
Oh yeah, it's hardware acceleration.
Did you see that?
I mean, let's not push it.
It's like a 3-second delay.
Yeah, I was gonna say
let's not push it or anything. But
I was gonna say my Incredible is on Jelly Bean too, but it doesn't mean it actually really runs it in any.
That's awesome that you guys actually have those running that. Anyway, I mean the Android distribution thing. We're going to be talking about it.
Oh boy.
Tim's dead.
Sorry.
Loki finally got him.
So we'll be talking about Android distribution numbers probably for the rest of our lives, and that's too bad. But
moving on.
Yeah, moving on. We had a new
It's already
Gmail
6:50.
update. Yeah, it is. So we had a new Gmail update. Does anybody have anything to add on to Gmail? We got pinch to zoom finally. Actually, I just want to say that the iOS version that got released is way prettier now than the Android version, and I hope we get it. I think we probably will get a version that looks like that because it matches more to the styling that Google's going for. But damn, that sucks that they got a new version that looks better than us.
Man, that's crap.
It is.
Yeah, I've been loving it on my iPad.
I told Tim, he's like, we're going to get it. And I said, I bet it's I.O. In like 5 months we'll get it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I didn't say we were going to get it today or tomorrow, but eventually.
Yeah. But hey, we have pinch to zoom after all these years. That's kind of sad. That's kind of sad to say.
It's not even pinch to zoom that I care about. It's that swipe to delete, which I'm even more excited for. Like that, I use it every day now. It's awesome. I don't have to multi-select and then batch delete. I can just keep swiping, swiping.
It is really nice. One of those things Google did that you didn't think you needed, but now you can never live without.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have this on our show list, but Google Now today got a big update, and it was awesome. There's all kinds of new cards, and we love Google Now. But Ron, you think you want Google Now to do more, right? Does that mean you wanted to do turn Bluetooth on and off, or?
No, that sounds horrible.
Well, I know, but
Why would I want to do that?
they added like 6 new cards today, and it's like I posted the whole list of them. It's pretty extensive now.
I'm looking at it right now.
There's like 25 things it does now.
And the basketball card doesn't look horrendous anymore.
Yeah, they changed it. Yeah, the sports one, it looks a lot better.
They don't even. Yeah, it's just it's on a new level.
Good. Good.
Level. All right, let's get through that. Let's move through some of these. Key Lime Pie cartoon. So I think it was Sunday. This guy that works for Google, who also is a cartoonist, drew this picture of the evolution of Android. And at the end, there was a little bug droid eating key lime pie, and everyone went, "It's official! Key lime pie!" It is not official, people. This guy was drawing a cartoon, and that's just what people are talking about. He doesn't even work on the Android team. He just works at Google, I think. So he probably...
it's a conspiracy.
He's a cartoon, like, intern or something like that.
He might know, but there's probably a good chance that he doesn't know. And it could be key lime pie, I guess.
It's key lime pie.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is key lime pie.
Yeah, but it's not confirmed yet, Ron.
Yeah, this cartoon did not confirm it. It was a cartoon.
Maybe not for you.
Yeah, well,
I think we're the only ones that were like, people, this is not a confirmation. But it's a really cute cartoon.
What more proof do you need besides this cute cartoon?
Besides a Googler drawing cartoons.
I don't call it until I see the statue out in front of there.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
We do love the statue.
Yeah.
Tim, do you want to talk about this HTC MZ mysterious new rumored phone?
That's a 7, but yeah.
No. We want to hear about the MZ.
That shows how much I care about.
I don't know anything about the MZ. Yeah, the HTC M7. I guess earlier last week it was making the rounds on some Asian smartphone websites, and 5-inch HD display, kind of like the DNA's 1080p type display. 13 megapixel back shooter, Snapdragon S4 Pro, quad core, so we're talking LTE possibilities. And then the aluminum unibody design, which would be kind of like a 1X except more metallic.
Like an iPhone.
Kind of like an iPhone, except less glass,
so really,
I guess.
So it's the DNA with an iPhone body. I mean, that's it, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
What are we selling here? So.
And guess what's never coming to Verizon?
Definitely. Because it'll be the 1X2 or.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it could possibly be the 1X2.
Maybe it's 2X.
Like
right.
X2. Oh, yeah,
1X2 Plus.
1X2. I don't know.
1X2 Plus with HTC Sense Max. 4G LTE.
Yeah.
God, you're a hater. Just get.
What? I love those names.
You know it's going to happen.
Yeah. Don't call me a hater if I'm predicting a very plausible future.
You're only mad because you know it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, his email handle is so obnoxious.
Oh, you love it.
I love it. I think it's hilarious.
Sent for my Razer Max running Sense or some shit.
Sent for my Verizon iPhone 4G LTE with Sense.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
But
it's easy to say.
So HTC is going to release this new phone, and the HTC. I guess it's the 1 series. Their naming is stupid because they have the new phone called the 1VX. I think I asked HTC, I was like, "What does the 1VX mean?" And they couldn't tell me. They didn't have like a reason behind the name. So anyway, the HTC.
Well, it's not like Galaxy actually means anything.
Right, but like VX, shouldn't that stand for something? Well, I guess 1X doesn't really. The X doesn't stand for anything, right?
No.
Wow.
Or the S for that matter, other than people getting confused if you're saying X or S.
So you can they don't have to go 1X2, they just go 1B4. I don't know. It's stupid. The naming of phones is just dumb. Yeah. Tim, talk about the Galaxy camera. You reviewed it finally, and your thoughts are?
Wow. Greatest device ever.
That's not what you said.
It was, for being, I tried to compare it a lot to, I have a comparable point-and-shoot camera, the Nikon J1, so I really just tried to kind of compare it to that, except naturally this thing has a humongous screen, it has Jelly Bean, and it has HSPA plus connectivity. So in terms of taking pictures, it kind of beats out my J1 in certain aspects where it has a lot more versatility, where I can take it outside and kind of get a lot more done with like landscape mode or any type of settings that the J1 can't handle. But then being able to share those pictures with AT&T's network is great. So that's huge. I mean, overall, though, for $500, I guess if you want it for the novelty of having an Android-powered camera, or you're somehow in the photography business, even though if you're in the photography business, you shouldn't get this camera. I mean, so say for me and Kellen, who go to CES or we travel a lot for all this tech stuff, the Galaxy camera is like the perfect companion because you can actually take really good pictures and then upload them straight to your website or whatever. I think that's great. In fact, I'm hoping Samsung lets us hang on to it so I can take it to CES. But other than that, final thoughts was, cool, but not as cool as I had initially hoped.
Yeah, does it feel like it's one of those products that's sort of starting a new type of product, maybe, and maybe
it's like a hybrid product. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's kind of making a market for itself, and I know there's going to be plenty more to come. Like, this is not the first camera phone, smart camera, whatever you're going to call it, but there will be more to come, I think. And I unfortunately don't think they're going to be as cool as this one. I think Samsung, if any company was going to put out the perfect mix of Android and the camera, it would be Samsung, because they have the means to do that. I mean, really, they got their fingers in everything. I don't think Nikon or Canon or anyone can put out something that suits or that complements Android so well, but also offers good camera functionality, if that makes sense. I'm afraid for the market, but then again, there is no market. Like, I don't think anyone's rushing out to buying these things.
Yeah, they're kind of it. I think the price point stinks at $500.
You can buy a decent DSLR for that.
Yeah, and so I think they screwed up with the price, but again, they sort of are trying to invent this new category. And I played with it for the first few days before Tim got it, and I like the idea of it, and having full Android is really nice. And like you said, just the ability to be anywhere in the world basically and take a picture and upload it to Facebook or Instagram or share it or whatever. That's really cool. But yeah, the price, I think, for me is just what's too high. But maybe we'll see. They'll start out at $500. Somebody else will come out with one that's $400, and somebody else at $350. Just like like the Android tablet market. Maybe it'll just keep coming down. I don't know.
Yeah, for Android, it's always a race to the bottom. I don't know why they find it necessary to do that.
Well, cameras aren't easy to do well, so right. I don't think you're going to see a ton of.
Exactly. I gotta give credit where it's due. Like, it's decent. You should see, so they sent along a reviewer's guide. Yeah, this thing is ridiculous.
It is.
And it's like full color. Like, this is nicer than some magazines that people put out. And it's just to review the thing. Like, they really want people to get into this.
It's really easy to make a shitty camera. Or I probably shouldn't say that, but
no, it's okay.
This is a family show.
No, it's an after hours show.
It's not an after hours show.
On the East Coast, it is.
People do listen at work, so yeah.
It's really easy to make a bad point and shoot. Like, you'd be surprised. So the fact that this is semi-decent and represents point and shoots and Android at the same time, I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah. And it does take decent photos. But anyway, Ron, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm hoping, right now it looks like the market might shift towards just putting Android on top of crazy expensive cameras, which I don't know that's super helpful with a lot of cameras coming with Wi-Fi built in and everything else like that. That's really what the purpose of it is. Maybe some people really want to fill up their Instagram feed with some crazy pictures too. Maybe that's it, but then you just bundle Instagram app and be done. But I am hoping that we see the opposite happen, where we start seeing really, really good cameras come in on phones, because that's one of the, besides battery life, which we haven't really seen better across the board. That's something that I also really, really want to see improved is camera technology in phones, because the most important camera is, like people have said a million times before, is the one that you have with you. Mm-hmm. And there are some good cameras out there, and a lot of on phones, and a lot of them are getting close or very close to point and shoots, but I'd love to see a camera that I can zoom in really far and it looks great. With the image stabilization stuff that Nokia's been doing, that's great. So I'd love to see that area really take off, because if you get a camera that matches some of that stuff and it's able to be miniaturized, which is really what the key component is to all that's going to be, that's going to be killer. I can tell you that right now. That's the next killer feature, I think, that's going to really help a phone sell, because that's more and more people, especially with Instagram, more and more people are trying in their hand at doing photography and experimenting with stuff and that kind of thing, and not just with filters, but also just I want to get a really good shot. and learning how to do that, and that's something that I think is going to be really important to a lot of people.
Yeah, and it sort of gets us closer to being good, but yeah, it's not a phone. And it's, Tim touched on this in his review, it's kind of bulky. I mean, it looks really nice, like the styling of it, but it's kind of bulky. You can't pocket this thing, and it weighs quite a bit, and it's sort of awkward to use. Like, if you were trying to play a game on it, it would be really weird. Because like,
oh god, why?
The lens gets in the way, and the grip does, and it's just sort of weird. Because it's got like a quad-core processor and like at least a gig of RAM. Like, you could technically play games and stuff. I mean, it's a big old screen, but...
Just because you have the power to do something, Kellen. Just because you have the power to put Angry Birds Space on it doesn't mean you should put Angry Birds Space on it.
That is very...
Why are you putting Angry Birds Space on anything? You should be playing Star Wars.
Yeah,
yes.
I forgot that Star Wars was
no,
out.
It's all right. I'm just giving you a hard time, but get it right.
So yeah, interesting product. I think Samsung's trying to go somewhere where nobody's gone yet. They did an okay job, right, Tim? I mean, not a great, an okay job.
Yeah, they did a no, I won't even say that. They did a good job. Good job, Samsung.
They did a decent job for their first go-around.
Good job,
like I said, so the camera...
Pat on the back.
Yeah, the camera part's kind of meh. Hardware is and Android is
Can we get
if I could... No, if I could just do a review in like moaning and groaning, that would be great.
We'll try that with our next like live unboxing. You can just go, oh.
This is how a caveman would review this device.
Oh no.
Yeah, or just a lonely gentleman.
All right, let's whip through some apps of the week. I'm stealing it before anyone got there. Falcon Pro, the Twitter app. Came out the full version over the weekend in Google Play, and it's awesome. By far, best Twitter app I've used in a long, long time. It's got two panels, or a panel from each side that are quickly accessed with lists and timelines and settings, and it looks pretty, and it's got a built-in browser and all. It's awesome, and it's like $1.03. It's like the most affordable app, I think, ever. So anyway, love it. I don't know if you guys all grabbed that, if you have alliances to other Twitter apps, but yeah, whatever. Yeah,
I don't care for it.
Oh, you don't? What?
No, surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, not for everyone. Anyway, what else you guys got? Other apps? Bust through these. Ron?
The new app that I've been playing around with is called Pixlr Express. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. P-A-X-L-R Express, if you guys want to find it in the market. But it's basically just a photo editing app. But it's far more comprehensive than stuff that you have. Instagram's just got basic filters and that kind of thing. And even the built-in Android camera stuff has, it's got some stuff, but not a lot. So this thing, you can do tons of stuff with it. You can obviously add borders, even like film stuff, so it looks like it's part of a film strip. If you jump into overlay, you can do stuff like literally tons of stuff. You can do chemical burn, you can do light leaks. There's tons of effects. You can adjust focus. You can expand that focus a lot, and then add the light on top of that focus as well. So it's brighter as well as more focused in. So you can do a ton of stuff on there, and then shoot it to wherever you share your photos, of Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So it's very, very comprehensive. You can do a lot of stuff. So if you're trying to, instead of just posting straight raw images, if you want to do a lot of touch up and that kind of thing, it's free, and you can do a ton of stuff with it. So check it out.
Sweet. Eric, what do you got?
I may or may not have been enjoying some alcoholic beverages the other night when my friend convinced me to get Snapchat, and it's been pretty fun so far. I'm not gonna lie. I
have no idea what Snapchat is. Am I missing something?
You have to drink first.
Is this like Kick Messenger for the little kids?
I don't know what Kick is really. So
I don't know.
It's
the BBM for the masses.
Basically, yeah, you just add people, and it's
Are there like photos involved of yourself?
Yeah. Well, you send them pictures, and you set a time limit, and they only get to look at them for like 5 seconds before it blows up, and then...
And you were doing this with your friends?
While drunk. What kind of pictures were you sending?
Yeah.
This is why...
I don't want to know what kind of pictures.
All sorts.
Oh, God.
I mean, this is why Snapchat exists, because guys like Eric were drunk and going, this is really fun.
It's made for college students. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. And teenagers. Just be careful of the teenagers. Yeah. All right, Tim, what are you using these days? What's your...
Be careful out there, Eric. Trust me, I've been around.
Have you been around the block?
Yeah. Rockstar, bro. My app of the week is
Rockstar, bruh.
Which, by the way, hopefully everybody caught his MySpace picture last week. That was pretty awesome.
Hey, man. So, version 5.
No, but there was a bruh. There was an H in that bruh. There was a bruh.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, bruh. All right.
Beautiful widget version 5 got updated finally. It's awesome. It's great. So when you're choosing new skins and downloading new skins, and even when you're applying a new widget on your home screen, they completely redid it. It's awesome. So it shows you a preview of what the widget will look like, and then on the bottom, you can kind of swipe through different options of how you want it to look to change the skin, to the clock skin, the weather skin, the color of the text on the widget, and then you just hit apply, and you're good to go. I love it. What are you guys looking at? Oh, the
dogs are they're getting ready to play. I want to show you guys. I showed you guys before the show, but I was hating on lock screen widgets before, but with beautiful widgets, it's awesome. So I know this is sort of tough to see, but I have my clock up there, and I could just swipe that down, and then I have weather now. I don't know why I think that's so cool, but that's one of the best uses of a lock screen widget I've seen yet, and that's in new beautiful widgets, the 4x4. So. Yep. All right, games of the week, just real quick. I was playing this game called Zombie Evil. It's sort of like tower defense, sort of shooter. You're basically a guy planted with all kinds of different guns, and you shoot all kinds of different zombies. It's fun. Or it's not fun. Well, it's fun, but it's free. There's obviously
it's not fun. Don't play it.
Yeah, don't play it. I'm just talking about it. But in-app purchases to get new guns, power-ups, all that stuff. Anyway, it's a good time waster. Not a bad game. Anybody else? Tim?
Tomorrow is the release of Grand Theft Auto Vice City for Android and iOS, I do believe. So I don't know exactly what time, guys, is coming out, but I'm guessing it'll probably be sometime in the morning that we can expect it. As soon as it launches, naturally, I will be writing it up for Droid Live. And as we think I heard, it's $5, but it's Vice City, so you can just don't expect me to be working or writing tomorrow because I'm going to be busy. And, yep.
That's good to know ahead of time. Thank you.
Yeah. FYI.
Yeah. Anybody else have games they want to talk about?
Ingress got like 4 little tiny minor updates this week, and I've just been playing that. Ingress.
Oh, Ingress. Yeah, it's getting updates all the time. Just got an update like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. So me and the Resistance boys in my town, we thought we had it on lockdown. We kind of went around. And
Warriors.
Oh, you guys! I mean,
it really is.
Up with people now, like walking.
No. Let's not go that far.
Are you Snapchatting with us too?
I'm not Snapchatting.
Snapchatting with the Warriors.
Did you
sorry.
Have a group, and did you name it?
No, I mean you're all under the same Resistance, or Enlightened team, and. We thought we had it under control, and then we all woke up one morning, and somebody had just come in and like wiped out the whole town. We were like, okay, now what do we do? And he's like 2 levels ahead of us. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's getting pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie.
I think a lot of people are actually playing this game a lot.
You guys should turn it on and look at the maps in your town, because I guarantee you, it's going on.
I'll do it right now.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it later. Yeah, it is kind of getting late. Let's do a quick sort of wrap up. Razer HD, for those in the chat that have a Razer HD, your Jelly Bean update is on the way. In fact, I sent Tim a picture of this. Motorola sent me this really random box today from FedEx, and it has, I have the jelly beans. It came with like this bag of jelly beans. I ate a few. And then
are they good?
Well, it's like cinnamon and black licorice. They're
gross.
Yeah, they're not really that good. But there was also like all this confetti and glitter and crap, which my cat was like having a ball with. And then this like little paper picture of the Droid Razer HD with like some writing on it that said like jelly bean features. It was really weird. I don't know if they wanted me to write about that, but I was like, this is just random. So yeah, the update started I think it was yesterday, or no, maybe it was Monday for like testers and random people, and then it's supposed to slowly start rolling out. We haven't seen the big wave come. Our inbox hasn't filled up. So a few people have it. We don't have the big wave yet, but Razer HD, Razer Max HD, both getting Jelly Bean. We also have the Microsoft Droid Rage thing.
Sorry, Eric, should I be Resistance or Enlightened? Real quick, go.
I'm enlightened.
Stunned.
Sorry,
Okay.
I was typing. I had it muted.
All right, thank you.
He's stunned. But so Microsoft, if you guys saw this, yesterday they tweeted, Android has this malware problem. If you've ever had a malware issue or bad times with Android phones, tell us your story and use hashtag Droid Rage. And of course, you know, as Android sites, we sort of got a hold of that and said, this is really funny. And people have just been flooding the Droid Rage hashtag with like all these comments about how awesome Android is, basically. I mean, they took over, and some of them are really funny. But it seems sort of silly for Microsoft to tell anybody that they have an Android or a malware problem. I mean, this is Windows we're talking about here. They're like king of malware and Trojans and viruses and all that crap. So I don't know if you guys saw that or care or have a comment, but it was hilarious.
Go ahead, Eric.
I think we should all tweet at Microsoft and tell them how many times we got blue screens of death on our Windows PCs, or how many times our, Windows 98, or how many of us bought Windows Millennium. Let's remind them about Windows Millennium.
Yeah, it's just a silly thing. I don't know what they were thinking. Whoever's idea that was. Obviously, we're all talking about it, and it's getting all sorts of buzz, but it's not getting. And I guess any publicity is good publicity. Isn't that how the line goes?
Yeah. Not for this one. Not in my opinion.
I don't know why this is a story though, because they did this last year.
Was it similar with the malware thing?
It's literally the exact same thing, and nobody has mentioned it.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did it last year around the same time. Ben Rudolph, who's the official Microsoft evangelist and still is, I think he started it kind of on a whim, kind of like the smoked Windows Phone thing. Also started with him with his interactions with people at CES. So Droid Rage thing was just kind of his own thing, and then he gave people free phones if they had a good story. So it's literally the exact same thing. It's a year-old campaign. I haven't seen anybody mention that, but it's been going on for a while.
Yeah, I had no idea it was a thing last year.
Yeah,
I just saw it today.
Yeah, around that time, I started looking into. That was when I first did my first post on Windows Phone, and so I was following him and following some of the crowd in there, and yeah, so it's a year old, so nobody seems to mention that.
Wow, that's hilarious. That makes it even more funny because it's getting all sorts of. I mean,
everybody's going crazy. Android Central is tweeting out against them. Philip Byrne has been posting a bunch of stuff with them. So is it's all funny, but it's like this isn't anything new. This is old, guys. So let's maybe realize that and move on.
That's actually really, really funny.
Thanks for letting us know, Ron.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Let's just make a big post about it and make a big deal. Oh, no. Yeah.
I just have one other topic. Oh yeah, go Eric.
Hold on. Shout out to Osties in the chat who once I will join him in mentioning our red rings of death on our Xboxes to Microsoft. I've gone through 3 Xboxes with the same problem, and
never had one.
Not fun.
Yeah, I only
not yet.
I've never had one, I don't think.
Yeah, Microsoft, whatever. Just keep pointing the finger.
Yeah. But anyway, I have one other announcement to make, but does anybody have anything else before I do that? And then we can just sort of call it a night.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Eric, why are you just calling one guy out? Shout out to everybody.
He's my Xbox.
Oh, okay. Hi, guys.
So anyway, big announcement. Next week we should have. Well, we're doing contests right now. For this week, we're giving away $25 Google Play gift cards. I walked into Target on Sunday, and I was like, "Whoa, they have them finally after 6 months of these." So I bought a whole bunch, and we're giving those away. But next week, we're hoping to give away a whole bunch of stuff. I'm waiting for the prizes to show up, so I'm going to kind of keep it a secret before we really talk about it with everyone. But next week, Monday through Friday, we should have good prizes for everyone to get. And then the following week, we're partnered with NVIDIA, and we're going to give away a whole ton of tablets leading up to Christmas. So for the next 2 weeks, Droid Life readers, you're going to have a chance to win all sorts of goodies, lots of tablets, lots of prizes. It should be a lot of fun. So we're going to give those all away. We'll make it simple like we've been doing, leave comments to enter, basically, because we like to make it easy on you guys. So anyway, yeah, stay tuned for all of those announcements. But yeah, it's going to be good. We're going to give away a lot of fun stuff. So.
Yeah, it's going to be dope.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really nice time for Christmas. A lot of you guys are gonna walk away with some good prizes. So.
Eric, what's wrong with your face, bro?
He did just go completely later. I think he's gone. He's gonna just block.
I'm here.
He's Snapchatting.
Oh,
because your camera looks all blurry or something like that.
That's the blur feature in Snapchat.
Somebody probably hopped on my Wi-Fi, and our internet is crap here.
That's hilarious. You should just keep talking for a minute because it's sort of hilarious.
It is kind of funny.
Eric, say something.
Yo. That's all you get.
It looks like you're trying to be anonymous. Oh,
there he's back. Anyway, that's a low point for that. we will call it a show. So Droid Live Show, episode 8.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, that's a wrap. We're out of here. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, and obviously on the site tomorrow talking about everything. So see you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.